So I think the first thing I would do in a demo is I would start showing them from a non-signed-in process, and I would say, right, this is the Unisoo platform. Obviously, I'm aware that you signed in, otherwise we wouldn't be speaking. But I want to show you what the difference between being a non-signed-in person, a signed-in person, and a premium feature is, because there are three different user categories that we've got. Obviously, at the heart of Unisoo, it's a database of, well, now 6,785 vendors. For your information, back in January we started at 6,000. So we've grown well over 10% of our properties in the last couple of months, which for us is good, because at the end of the day, it's the fear of missing out. The people are now realising that we exist, and if they're not on it, there's a problem. So that for us is quite flattering, really, that we've built a system that is so powerful that they want to be a part of. But ultimately, as a non-signed-in person, then you've got the ability to search this data, but really only on a single filter. So in Australia, there are 248 vendors versus the 6,700. And actually, if you wanted to then add in there New Zealand, you can do, and it will update it. And if you wanted to add in there India, you can do, because it's still on the one single filter. But what you can't then do is add in a next filter. And this is where you've got to sign in for a free account, but still it is free. So if I just now move on, and just for argument's sake, I'm going to sign up with a brand new free account. So just excuse me for a second. I'm just going to do fred@fred.com. Just free. So I'm going to show you now what happens when you're loading up a free account, and you've probably already done this yourself. So you've been through this. And this is one of the things I think is quite important for them to actually just realise why we do the sign-up process the way that we do it. So when we're going through this process with an individual, everything that we do here is all about understanding that character, understanding that user journey, so that we can make it very personalised to them. So in this case, let's say I am a prop tech investor. I'm a prop tech company, and I'm in commercial and residential. And in this case, the asset lifecycle is our bespoke framework on which we built everything. So the likes of the universities are using our framework simply because it's a trusted source of how to build and compare prop tech information. For us, what makes Unisoo quite different is that we're not based on subjective opinion of what is and what isn't prop tech. What we're basing all of our data on is the fact that we are an academic framework that all of the top universities around the world are using simply to frame the argument of prop tech. So in this case, I'm dealing with the sell cycle of the property, and I'm based in the United Kingdom. All right. So what this is giving us is it's giving us the understanding of what that user is, and that for us is fundamentally important, so we can start showing them bespoke-based advertising, which is relevant to them. Because for us, context is everything. If you show irrelevant forms of advertising, you lose that person immediately. If they're only interested in residential and you're showing them commercial information, why would you do that? If they're only interested in residential and you're showing them commercial-based advertising, why would you do that? So everything about that user journey of sign-up is so that we can personalize and contextualize the advertising. And in this case, I'm just going to skip the resources section. This Sage here, which is all of their user dashboard, is bespoke to what they actually want, not what they don't want. So this is based on both their geographical location and their sector interest. Once I've done that, on the free plan, again, at the heart of it is this 6,700 odd businesses, and now all of a sudden what they've got is the ability to search for 3 different sectors. It's completely free, because for us what is important here is that they can search for lots of different pages, and they can filter and source exactly what they want, which gives us the opportunity to make very generalistic advertising at the top level of maybe just, I only want to look at United Kingdom businesses, or I only want to look at AI-based businesses globally. You're giving people the full spectrum of search facilities. Now, what that means is we are giving the free account users access to all of our data so they can personalize their search. The reason we're doing this and making it free is that it then gives us the opportunity to provide advertising services based on that person's search. And it can be as generalistic as we want or as specific as we want. So at this point, and this is where I'd ask them, obviously your company being an artificial intelligence business, I could look at this and say, I only want artificial intelligence. You're competing with 354 different vendors. So how can somebody generally make an opinion on that? And they might actually say, well, actually, I only want to look at United Kingdom. But that's still 43 customers that you're actually trying to, and not customers, you're trying to compete against 43 different companies to get that customer's attention. And this is where some of our advertising comes in. So it's at this point, I'd say, so there's two options you've got here. Number one is you can go very general, and you can, basically buy advertising space on someone's sector knowledge and someone's geographical location. And what I will generally do is I say, so we can go top level, and we can say, this person here, if you look, you can look at these ones, and they are UK businesses. I don't know why that's commercial, but I would go, if I just change this person, rats, you idiot. Fuck it. I'll move on to this one, because it doesn't really matter now. If I go into my profile and I edit it, and I say, I only want to look at United Kingdom, and I only want to look at residential, and I then press save, you'll now notice if I go over to search companies, these are now all residential. And again, I don't know why that's not working. I have to sort that out. But generally, you can get away with saying these are residential businesses, and they're all in the UK. So this is allowing you to get quite contextual with a general top line. And equally, if they were to navigate back to the homepage, again, because of their sectors, you can find that they're residential in the UK. And equally, if they go to their dashboard feed, you'll find on the right-hand side. Yeah, that one seems to be sticking out. I don't know why. These are actually sticking as residential businesses. So you can really contextualize that advertising. Flat fee, monthly fee, it's all there. But some people choose that they want to get even more bespoke than that, and they want to say, well, actually, we're investigating a new region we want to expand to, or we want to be very granular in our search. And what we would like is actually, we want to be found for all 6,785 businesses. So we just want to have this sponsored spot at the top here, thanks, which is maximum traffic because everybody launches on this one. Or they just want to say, I want to be in the United States or the USA. And that is something down to 2,032. Or they might say, actually, I only want to be found for residential American PropTech businesses. And of the 12,000 you're competing with, I'm at the top. So this stuff here we find is incredibly important for that context advertising. And by the way, obviously you can get as detailed as you want. So I now want to go to artificial intelligence, which then drops it down to 68. Now, what we can do here is we can say, well, we're going to our back end, and I don't mind showing you this because it's pretty transparent. I can just find a particular business, which, let's say Dacia. These guys are a Swedish business. They're in Norway. They're nowhere near America. But they want to be shown in the USA searches. And I'm just going to save that for you. I'm going to go back onto the website. And you'll see, if I refresh my page, they won't be found for USA residential artificial intelligence because it's too specific. But if I get rid of these, you should now find Dacia is at the top because that is their search query. They want to be found among those 2,032. Now what I'm going to add to on that is I'm going to add in a section where I want, in fact, I'm not going to be found. It's not my primary search, right? My primary search is, let's go to solution artificial intelligence, and then I'm going to find residential, right? So this is not anything to do with any sector-specific searches. So now, if I go back to Unisu, and if I refresh the page, you'll see now that I've gone, because I'm not focusing on the USA, so I'm not there. You'll also find that I'm not anywhere here, and if I go to technology and I go to artificial intelligence, you can find that I am here, in fact, and if I then split that down to only commercial, you'll find I'm not there, because it's all about contextualizing that thing. But if I go to residential, funny enough, this is what residential and commercial, I don't want to know that, but I do want to find for residential. So we're really allowing you to pick and choose exactly what phrases, keywords and terms and geographical locations you want to be shown for. And we think that's a really powerful tool simply because it's low cost, high volume model. So for you, there's not a lot of cost involved, but you can have complete and utter choice as to how you show. For us, it's not about your one-off cost, it's about our volume. So the ability to sell this sort of advertising to an almost infinite number of variations is phenomenal for us. So we don't need to put the price high. So we price it low, but we put a lot of volume through. That's why it's cheap for you. And I always find that's a really good hook because it's honest. You know, we could charge 200 quid for this, but we don't because we want volume. It's all about the volume. So that's the very basic advertising. Obviously, on top of that, then I talk about the fact we've got a forum. So I go through that we can advertise in the forum here. We can do the same for jobs. I show about Sunday PropTech Review, and you can advertise in that. They're all really easy, quick wins, and I might, in this case, have, let's just see if I can go back. I would sometimes sort of bring out the updates here, and I would find the Sunday PropTech Review. I'd have this all prepared, obviously, wherever it is. It's not going to be there. But I would just show what the Sunday PropTech Review would display. So it depends on the company, but in some of them I would start with the paid solutions. In some of them I'd start with the free solutions. Because what I think you've really got to realise is that we're supporting of business and we're supporting of people. And it depends on who that company is as to which one I start with. Generally, if it's a big company, I would probably start with just go straight into the advertising. If it's a smaller company, I'd probably start more with, right, there's a lot of paid solutions in here, but I think let's start with the free stuff so I can just tell you all the different things that you can get as an individual, because that will help you as a business. So I would probably just say, right, the premise of all of this is that we have a massively powerful resource function which allows anybody to submit content, and they just have to agree and continue to all the terms, and then it's a self-service aspect of content provision. And you can put in videos, you can put in podcasts, you can then contextualize your audience down to what sort of resource it is, what sort of sector you're targeting, what sort of industry you're in, and then any particular technologies that you're referencing. And for us, the important thing is that number one, for us, it's good because it's giving us more content for our readers. But number two, what's most important is that all contributes to you being seen as an influencer in the sector. So we've currently got, I think it'll be over 170 influencers around the world, and you can say, I only want to find the influencers in Australia, and it will then search for those influencers, and actually I only want to look at, construction technology, and then there's only one. So we're enabling you for absolutely free to be deemed an influencer in your particular area. And this is all fueled by what you put into the platform, as well as a few external factors, but it's all about internal things. And so one of them is, get in there, submit your content, be found. The second thing is start contributing to the forum. Points and discussions and all of this sort of stuff. The more you put in, the more you get out, and it's in live time. So as soon as you've done that, the next day you'll be on the influencer board and being found in your particular region. Okay. So that's all completely free. Equally, I'll then say, and we want to help you grow. So we've got the PropTech jobs. So as and when you've got jobs, this is all for free. For PropTech and property businesses, it's free to list jobs. It's only recruitment consultants that we charge jobs for. So, when you're ready, just stick a job in here and we'll happily promote it for you. Thing on a demo that I might do is I would probably take them into their events page or the events page, and I would say, look, one of the real things that I should really encourage you to do is to go and find an event that you're part of, go to that event and actually say that you're attending the event. And part of the reason for doing that is you could find people by clicking view all, and you could then message them directly. So, you recognise Ben here as an investor, you want to raise funds on your business, which is great. So go in there and message him directly. And that's, so important for us in terms of being able to build out that community. So it's just worth going in there and saying to people, go in here. If you're attending, that's great. Say that you're attending, because people will want to know and they'll want to get that bit of contact in. And I will say to them that what you want to be able to do is to say, well, actually, you can use this messaging at any time. So now we've got the messaging live. As you become more influential, you can go in here and say, well, these are the most influential people for the past 4 weeks. I only want to speak to people who are influential in Contech. And at any time you can just go, well, actually, I want to speak to Julia. That's great. And I can load up a message. So that's another reason to be an influencer on the system, because people can directly procure you. And lastly, but not least, once you've got your company, I'll use All Things as a good example for the company side. Once you've claimed your company on here, then invite your team. Why? Because if you go to your company, you've got your team members and anybody can be contacted, which is obviously great for business procurement. And you can do that as well. I think that is probably it as a scenario, and I would just say, right, what interests you most, and just do the close.